Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea Zimmerman, and I'm the very proud administrator of the Advanced Technical Center. I'm so excited to have you all in our space today for this wonderful announcement. But first, I want to give you a little bit of background about what the Advanced Technical Center is and how we came to be. So a few years ago, I was approached with the idea of a central location for high school students across DC to come together to take career and technical education programs. At the time, I was a CTE director in a small high school in Deanwood in Ward 7, where we didn't have the resources for expensive programs like nursing. And so I knew immediately that this could be a game changer for my students living east of the river, to have a place that they could still come and engage in programs like this. Because when we're, the students living east of the river and the schools located there, there's often many frustrating barriers to getting to programs uptown, like transportation. And so again, having a central place like this with the wraparound supports that I'll share with you really helped to make that possible, and really the reality that brought us here today. So I never dreamed that I would ever have the actual opportunity to shape and build that center, but when that opportunity came, I knew I wanted to be a part of that team. So again, I want to welcome you to the ATC, and I want to tell you a little bit more about us. So we opened our doors 2 years ago on the campus of Trinity Washington University, and without them, we couldn't have opened our doors that year. And so for our representatives from Trinity in the room, thank you again. But we started with 96 students from 8 different schools across DC engaged in dual credit CTE pathways where they could specialize in cybersecurity or general nursing. This year, we moved down the street here to the historic Penn Center, where we get to bring our modern career and technical education back into a building that once hosted hundreds of occupational training classes in photography and printing, audio recording, and much more. And so it's an honor to be able to stand on that legacy and build that forward into the 21st century. Today, we have 191 students from 15 schools just in our second year, and now have 2 university partners at the table. Trinity stayed with us for our nursing program, and the University of DC for cybersecurity. And we are so incredibly proud that for 2 years in a row, 40% of our students here at the ATC live in Ward 7 or 8. Again, for me, when I said that game changer, it was about breaking down the equity and the access barriers that we have to quality CTE education here in DC, and we're proving that every single day. And next year, we're already looking at bringing in even more schools and even more students here into this space. Daily, we hold 3 sessions a day that allows our students and schools the flexibility to choose the session that works right for their schedule and their needs. Our students engage in rigorous college-level dual enrollment courses while also balancing a full load at their home high schools. But we don't stop there. Our programs are intentionally designed to meet the markers of a high-quality CTE program, really getting to that career-connected learning that really breaks things open for students. And that includes paid relevant internships, industry credentials, and also work-based learning and student leadership opportunities. In our general nursing pathway, our students are able to sit for their certified nursing assistant course or certification by the end of the program, and cyber students are taking their CompTIA Security Plus certification, which is a hard one, okay? So all of our courses align directly to the prerequisites to enter into Trinity School of Nursing. It's a long list, but we're knocking off some of them by being in this program. And then for cybersecurity, our courses are the early courses in UDC's cybersecurity bachelor's degree. And that was very intentional in our program design, so students have that acceleration intentionally in their post-secondary career. And then finally, I must mention our wraparound supports, which is a big part of what keeps this all together. In particular, if you remember, I said at the top, one of our big struggles was around transportation. And so here at the ATC, we provide daily transportation to help our students get between home, their high schools, and the ATC safely. And then, of course, our wonderful staff and professors who work hard every day, really focusing on the relationships. And we know that's the thing that really is what helps keep students on track and coming back every single day. And so at the end of the day, what really gets my team and me excited to come to school every day really are our students. And no one tells the ATC story better than our students. So today you're going to get to hear from 2 of them, and I'm so excited to introduce Saida Tomlinson. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Saida Tomlinson. I am a first-year ATC nursing student and an 11th grader at Columbia Heights Educational Campus. When I heard about this program, I was ecstatic, and my professor welcomed me with open arms. This year, I have been able to get a feel of some of the college courses that I will have to take in the future for me to pursue my passion of becoming an obstetrician. While being in this program, I have been able to learn fundamental healthcare skills, medical terminology, explore different healthcare professions, and now we are doing compelling labs like blood typing and microbiology. I have developed many new relationships with not only my peers from schools across DC, but also the staff members of this ATC program. This program has given me many opportunities that I am very grateful for. For example, I have been able to compete in a statewide competition to bring awareness to the rising issue of period poverty, which is a lack of resources, clean sanitation, education, and support for those dealing with their periods, and it is especially common amongst teens. This community health awareness project allowed me to shine a light on an issue that isn't being talked about enough. Being in this nursing program allows me to earn dual credits and a scholarship from Trinity Washington University. I am not sure where I plan to go to college yet, but these credits are likely to transfer wherever I decide to go. Although I have many amazing things to say about the ATC program, the one problem that I find myself in is the fact that this program's location is far from where I live. I have to take 2 different trains and a bus to get home, and during the wintertime, I get home when it's dark outside. It takes me an hour to get home on a good day, more if there's heavy traffic. Opening up a new ATC center would allow a student in Ward 8 to get home on time and will allow other students the opportunity to pursue their dreams and get a head start in their future education and career dreams. Being a part of this ATC program has been very rewarding so far. I have not only gained better knowledge of the healthcare field, but also made different connections. Making a Ward 8 ATC will have an amazing outcome for new students to come in the future and a positive impact on the people. Thank you.
I promise they tell the story better, and I think she delivered. Thank you, Saida. All right, and next I would love to introduce to you Almira King.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Almira King. I am a junior at Eastern Senior High School and a one-year nursing student at the Advanced Technical Center. This program has helped me explore different avenues of the medical field, and I am still trying to figure out which path is best for me. However, I now have a better idea as to what I want to do in the medical field, from practicing with interactive laboratories, such as checking vitals, ABO blood type labs, dissecting lamb hearts, and urine testing at George Washington University. I believe this is one of the many reasons as to why putting an ATC in Ward 8 will be beneficial for students who live in the area or around it. Students will have a chance to explore the different avenues in the medical field. But what could be stopping students from getting that chance to participate is the proximity of the school from home. So this is my little bit short. So it is now my pleasure to introduce the champion of education here in Washington, D.C., Mayor Bowser.
I like that. Very well done. Well, good morning, everyone. Let's hear for our beautiful young people. So, Saida and Almira, thank you for telling your stories and sharing why other DC young people would benefit from another advanced technical center. I am also very pleased to be joined by special guest who you'll hear from, Jenny Kane from Bloomberg Philanthropies. Give her a big round of applause. Leo Brainerd from the National Economic Council. Thank you. Randy Weingarten from the American Federation of Teachers. For a big round of applause. And our public education team, I want to acknowledge Louis Farabee, the Chancellor of DC Public Schools. Superintendent Grant, the Superintendent of Education for District of Columbia. Dr. Maurice Eddington, the President of the University of the District of Columbia. And Jacqueline Pogue Lyons, DC Public Schools and the Washington Teachers Union. Thank you, Jackie, for your leadership and representing all of DC's wonderful teachers. So we are back at the ATC here in the Penn Center. I want to acknowledge also in absentia, because he's a little under the weather, Deputy Mayor Paul Kine, who I'm sure is watching as we speak. So let's give it to him. So the ATC, of course, is part of our work to reimagine high school and to blur the lines between high school, college, and career. And we kind of use the shorthand that the ATC can be thought of as modern vocational training. And it is training that connects our students to jobs that exist and need DC residents to fill them in Washington, DC right now. We want every student who goes through our public schools to graduate and be ready for their next step. And that next step may be a four-year college. It may be right at the University of the District of Columbia. It might be a two-year degree also, maybe at the University of the District of Columbia. It could be workforce training, and it might be a job. It might be service to our nation. In any case, we want our kids to be ready. And we want to make sure that in every part of the city, as you heard our students say, that they have access to these high-quality programs. And that is what the ATC is designed to do. Students are preparing for high-wage, high-demand jobs in cybersecurity and general nursing. In this school year, the class of 2024 collectively earned more than 1,100 college credits from our partners at Trinity, Washington, and at UDC. And this one is for the parents, saving nearly $900,000 in college tuition. So people are noticing that great things are happening in Washington, D.C., and Chancellor and Superintendent and all of our teachers and staff. We want to thank you for innovating, for working hard, for preparing. To our policymakers and taxpayers, we want to thank you for your investments. We, of course, are very proud of our universal free pre-K in the District of Columbia. And the ATC and our investments in the University of the District of Columbia represent the other end of those investments. So earlier this year, we received, and we like this number, a $4 million grant from the Biden-Harris administration to support the ATC. And in the budget that I sent to the council, we included the necessary investments to not only expand here at this center, but to open a new center, which is what the young ladies were referring to, in Ward 8 at the St. Elizabeth campus with another great local partner. And today, we're thrilled to announce another number. Bloomberg Philanthropies is investing $9.5 million over 3 years to support pathways to healthcare careers. So in addition, that investment will allow us to launch an innovative post-high school bridge program led by our DC Hospital Association that will allow high school graduates to work full-time with an employer partner while gaining relevant training experience. So I want to thank Mayor Bloomberg, Howard Wolfson, Jenny Kane, and all of Bloomberg Philanthropies, who's just been a great partner to us in Washington, D.C. So here's what we know. We have a lot of great employers in D.C., including 13 hospitals. Next year, right near the future site of our second ATC, we will open the 14th, Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center at GW Health, and it will be the first full-service hospital to open in Ward 8, east of the river, in 20 years. So all those hospitals employ thousands of people. They earn good pay. And I can speak firsthand of what a UDC trained nurse can do for a family, because my mother's one. And we're just grateful, and she's grateful to have had a great career from every level, graduating as a manager from St. Elizabeth's Hospital, retiring, I should say. And we know that that's a life-sustaining career for a family in Washington, D.C. So keep up the great work, girls. So with that, let me turn to Jenny Kane from Bloomberg.
Thank you, Mayor. It's great to be here today with you for this exciting announcement. Before I begin, I really want to thank the Mayor for your great ongoing collaboration with Bloomberg Philanthropies and for being such a wonderful education champion and partner. DC is lucky to have you as a leader, and we look forward to our continued work together. I'm thrilled to be here to announce our support to expand the district's Advanced Technical Center in Ward 5 and establish a new center in Ward 8, both focusing on connecting young people to good jobs in healthcare. Mike Bloomberg believes that all students should have options and opportunities to get good jobs with good wages. We know that for many students, four-year college is a great option, but we also know there's so many well-paid jobs that don't require a four-year degree. And today, most of those are in healthcare, where there are currently 2 million open jobs and an additional 2 million expected by 2031. But to get those jobs, like a lab technician, respiratory therapist, or nursing assistant, you need a specific training and you need credentials. That's where the programs such as the Training Center come in. These centers will provide students with the training while they're in high school. So if they choose, they can go directly into well-paid jobs after they graduate or onto 2-year or 4-year college and be far ahead. This work is not possible without the many partners in this room, Mayor Bowser and your team, the Office of the State Superintendent, Dr. Grant, Chancellor Farabee, and the AFT, and the White House, and the District of Columbia Hospital Association. So it's a lot of players. And we all gathered in a room together over a year ago with this idea, and I actually cannot believe that we've made it till today. So that's very exciting. This is also a great example of a true public-private partnership, with funding coming alongside funding from the Biden-Harris administration and also from the mayor's budget. In January, we announced a new initiative to create 10 new high schools around the nation that will graduate students directly into high-demand healthcare jobs with family-sustaining wages. A primary goal of that initiative, along with innovative models such as these centers, is to create sustainable long-term models with the potential to scale across the nation and address gaps in education and workforce development. We look forward to following the successes of these centers and sharing what we learn with others around the country. I want to end with a few thank yous, again to the Mayor team and the State Superintendent and hospital partners, but I particularly want to thank Randy Weingarten and her team. Randy has become such a vocal leader and proponent of this type of work that we are announcing here today. She has assumed a critical leadership role nationally in propelling these kinds of initiatives forward across the nation, so thank you, Randy. We're also grateful to have the support from the Biden-Harris administration, which recognizes the importance of creating high-quality, career-connected high school programs for more students. To speak more on this, it is my pleasure to introduce from the Executive Office of the President, the Director of the National Economic Council, Lael Brainerd.
With a great jobs report today. Now we need well-trained students for all those great jobs. So thank you so much for that kind introduction, Jenny, and for Bloomberg's pivotal work in this area. I'm very excited to be here to celebrate these exciting new investments and the partnership that made them possible. Students, educators, employers, unions, local officials, super important. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for what you do for our city every day. You've been such a strong partner to this administration to bring more opportunities to this city's young people. And it was so exciting to hear from Saida Tomlinson and Almira King to just see how phenomenal this program is going to be in providing these career pathways. I want to also thank Jacqueline Pogue-Lyons from the Washington Teachers Union, who is making sure every day the city's teachers have what they need to be successful, and Andrea Zimmerman, who led this fantastic program. And also want to call out Randy Weingarten, who is an incredibly strong and effective advocate and innovator on career and tech education all around the country. In terms of this program and what it represents, the president, the first lady, the vice president, they care so deeply about making sure our education system works for more Americans and provides real pathways to family-sustaining middle-class jobs. For too long, I think we can all agree our education system wasn't giving students enough exposure to the full range of exciting possible jobs that lie ahead of them, or the right tools that they need to take on these opportunities. So that's why this advanced technical center, the new one that's being opened in Ward 8, they're so important. They are win-win-win for students and educators, for businesses, and for the economic health of our communities. It gives students the opportunity to try out different careers, explore their interests, build skills, get credentials. It means multiple pathways to good jobs, and it's so important that students have choices, whether they choose to pursue a four-year degree or whether they don't. Both are so important. Businesses benefit from eager young people with targeted training who are more likely to be engaged in their workplaces and advance in their jobs with the right training. And communities here and around the country do better with more skilled people in the labor force, building wealth, spending on local main streets, and having the resources they need to invest in brighter futures for their families. When the president took office and passed the rescue plan, it was a top priority to ensure each locality could choose how to leverage that funding. And we were thrilled that Mayor Bowser prioritized workforce development and leveraged this funding to crowd in private investment. Of course, we were thrilled when the Department of Education was able to come in with additional resources to support that. And we're thrilled that partners like Bloomberg Philanthropies, through their support behind this initiative. We're extremely excited to have employers like Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center providing job opportunities to connect these students and see how their education and their training actually connects to the workforce. And of course, we absolutely need strong labor partners like Randy Weingarten and the AFT. So this is exactly what the president thinks about when he talks about workforce development, of communities coming together to create meaningful pathways to job opportunities. And with that, let me wrap up and welcome Jacqueline Pogue-Lyons, president of the Washington Teachers Union. Thank you.
Thank you, and I must say I'm so thrilled to be here today. This was just a seed last year, and you know how you start talking about something, you're saying, oh my goodness, how is this going to happen? And I can't believe just a year later we're here. And I want to thank the chancellor, who I work with on an almost weekly, day-to-day basis. I want to, yes. I also want to thank Ossie and Christina Grant. Definitely want to thank Mayor Bowser. Want to thank the Biden and Harris administration. And I'll say more, but I definitely want to thank Randy Weingarten. And I just want to say this just shows what we can do when we all work together. We don't always have to agree, but we can come to the table. And we have to remember that we have to bring everyone to the table. And I just want to also let you know that the Washington Teachers Union, which represents close to 6,000 teachers, we are thrilled and grateful with the investments that are being made to reimagine the high school experience for our DC students. They will have an opportunity to get professional growth, earn industry credits and gain college credits, which is both important for the students as well as their families. They get a start, and it's not like they're going in to take those introductory courses. They have already gained the experience they need to work in those careers. And I must say, they will learn a lot about cybersecurity, but for me personally, I love to hear that we have homegrown nurses coming from the city, and it is a thrill to me to hear that we have brown and black girls who are talking about research and data on menstrual cycles. It's amazing. Like, I can't even imagine something like that when I was in high school. And it all ties together when you think about the experiences that many of our brown and black women have when they're trying to have healthy, safe babies. That's the seed of it, studying that and studying the data. So I'm going to come to this part of it because, again, this was a seed a year ago, but also was a seed for me as a new leader of the WTU 3 years ago. I was meeting the chancellor for the first time, and we were preparing to go back to the school safely after COVID. And that is, I've always admired Randy Weingarten from afar, but 3 years ago, I actually got a chance to work with her in coming back to school safely. Randy just didn't do that with her words, she did that with her resources. And she gave us the professional development and the support so that our teachers, although many people were fighting against it and didn't feel clear about how this was going to happen, Randy Weingarten gave us the guidebook, and not just, again, the words, but the resources. And from then on, not only just how are we going to get back to school safely, innovatively, she came up with real solutions for kids and communities. And part of those real solutions is creating joyful, confident readers. And I can't believe that they have given away 10 million books. I think we've given away probably about 1 million in the District of Columbia, and we're going to continue to do that. She also worked on expanding community schools. And the most important piece of it that I find, there are other pieces of it, but the most important piece of it is giving kids experiences. Part of it is experiential learning, and that's what we're doing with the investments that we're making today. So with that, I'm going to introduce Randy Weingarten, who, again, is just an awesome leader because she definitely works with bringing everyone to the table to make things happen for students. Thank you.
I don't know about all of you who can still wear heels. So, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, all the education doctors. And particularly, thank you. The head of the National Economic Council is with us today. I just want to make sure that people understand who Lael Brainard is. Here at a school with all of us announcing this. I mean, because, look, it does take a village, and the village is here. It takes a lot of partners to put these things together, and then to hopefully a year later we will see, just like ATC, the fruits of this. But let me just start by saying why I am so intensely passionate about this work. I didn't teach in the DC schools, I taught in the New York City schools. Yes, it was, Dr. Grant just said I was her union leader. I taught AP Gov as well as social studies, 11th and 12th grade, in a career tech ed school. So take all the stereotypes and throw them out when you hear that. And my kids in my classes won or placed well in debates about the Constitution. Again, throw out all the stereotypes and myths. But during the period, which is the dinosaur age, that I taught, there was this huge push to get rid of vocational schools. Some of which was because there was tracking, which was wrong, but some of which was because, unlike what Mayor Bowser said, there was a sense that we had to push all of our kids into college. Now, college is a really important thing, and we want our kids to go to college. But what career tech ed does here and in so many other ways is what we're doing is creating choice and opportunity for our kids. And this is my favorite statistic, which the Department of Education knows, the other doctor in the room knows, which is that right now, 94% of kids in CTE programs graduate from high school on time, and 72% of them go to college. So when you create these programs educationally, you heard from our students, it's taking tinkering, it's taking applying things, it's taking passion and meeting it with purpose, and kids want to come to school, and there creates a joy. And then, and this is why I'm so indebted to, and I worked with Mayor Bloomberg when I was the president of the U of T. We had good days, and we had some not good days. But what I am so indebted to them about, and to the mayor, and to this administration, and to the Biden-Harris administration, is that as we're remaking the economy, 4 million healthcare jobs, it is a shortage. We are the second largest nurse union. We see the shortages all over. How do we then align workforce, choice, opportunity with our kids when we have them in high school? And how do we prepare them both with the certifications, which is about not just career learning and learning a craft, but critical thinking, communication skills, relationship building, all the things we want all our kids to do. But how do we also make sure we connect to the employers so that kids see and have an imagination about what it could be with a job that is family sustaining? So what this program is, because of the Biden administration's vision, because of the work of DC public schools, because of the participation of our union on a national and a local, one day I'm going to say state basis. But we need the seed money, which Bloomberg has done. And that's why this is a win-win situation of choice and opportunity for our kids to have pathways and family-sustaining wages starting from high school. That's why I am so honored to be here as we unveil this new healthcare pilot and program. And the reason I say pilot and program is, yes, the Bloomberg Foundation has said, let's do 10 of these or 12 of these throughout the country. Maybe they'll do a few more. But this administration wants to take these pathways, the one we've done in advanced manufacturing in Syracuse, New York, the one here, let's make them the norm. So every one of our public school kids have choices, have opportunities that is within their fingertips, and then they see it in terms of jobs of today and tomorrow. That's what public schooling should be all about. Thank you.
Good to see you. I think we're supposed to call people up.
Okay. Well, let's have the public education team come up, and you can ask them all the hard questions on topic. Yes.
Blessings, good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
I'm just trying to get a sense. I heard 191 students between 15 schools. With the opening of the ATC in Ward 8, what will the new number be?
Sure. Chancellor or Superintendent, and have we already announced the Ward 8? We have? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good morning. We're going to start with an initial class of 75 students and then grow year over year, very similar to what took place at this site. We originally started with 50 students. Students exceeded our demand, so we're excited to have the local investment to launch with an inaugural class of 75 students.
One follow-up question, and I'm going to preface with a bit of context, so please bear with me. When it comes to vocational education, in interviewing different people, what I found is that even though people who enter programs, they navigate it successfully, they sometimes fail exams to get the actual certification because of illiteracy or adult illiteracy. So given that being the reality, what steps are being put in place to help young people who are going into the ATC program to have the prerequisite ability to tackle the coursework?
Yeah, I mean, well, first you heard directly from our students, and I think it's important to ground everything in the reality of just what our students from DC are accomplishing every single day. The investments that the administration has made in CTE education is historic, and it actually starts in middle school, having lots of opportunities to explore different pathways. Students in this program, which you heard from both today, they're 11th grade students, and so they've shown academically in their freshman and sophomore year that they're ready, not just mature enough to handle the responsibility of coming to this site, learning from university professors, transitioning back to their high school, and maintaining both grade and academic and social milestones. But that's the intention and design of this program. You also heard our administrator name that we sit with our students to ensure that they're taking their credentialing certification exams here at the site or at the site that is needed for them to get credentials. And you heard our university partners also commit. At Trinity alone, every nursing student that completes this program will receive a $15,000 scholarship to continue their studies at Trinity University, and the same is true for UDC. So the design of the program, what makes it special is we are not just saying, hey, students, come and engage in a program for a month or a semester. Students who begin at the ATC will complete their studies at the ATC, matriculate into college, and have credentials that allow them to explore career. That is why the palpable energy is in the room, and our students are more than capable to meet and exceed the demands. It wasn't me. To meet and exceed the demand, but the design of this model is why year over year the students have exceeded their enrollment, and we have to build a second location to meet what is truly coming out of our high schoolers. They want these opportunities.
One second, I just want to have the chancellor add something.
Yeah. Thank you. So first of all, I want to recognize we have several of our principals with us today. I see Principal Massey, H.T. Woodson, Principal Walker, and Anacostia High School. We also have Principal Ballou High School as well with us. So we're really fortunate that our school leaders understand that the world between career technical education, vocational education is a complement to our core academics in our schools. And so it's not by chance or circumstance. The numbers that were quoted earlier about how students are performing academically, what they do when they leave us, because it advances not only what students do in the classroom with their certification, but also in critical areas such as math and reading. And I know when you were a government teacher, you were incorporating what students were doing in their vocational work with what was happening in the classroom. Now, the superintendent mentioned middle school, which is also a way that we build the prerequisite skills, but I also want to go back to what happens in elementary school. Now, the superintendent did mention the great work that district has done about the science of reading, and we know today we have more students that are on grade level in K through 2, and that is the foundation, I think, to building those critical skills for math and reading, but also to prepare our students for career and technical education experiences.
I should say, Chancellor, I'm sure you would welcome a guest lecture from the AFT president anytime at one of our high schools. I'll sit in for it too. I want to be there. Any other questions? Yes.
Hey, Mayor Bowser, Tom Razzie with Channel 7. Two-pronged question. I know a lot of people, when they talk about getting juveniles on the right track, it's accountability, but then it's also prevention.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask what role you think this plays on the prevention end. And in addition, do you have data that shows this really does get kids on the right track and keep them out of trouble?
Well, let me kind of flip this on you, because the chancellor reminded me yesterday. We were at Kenilworth Park actually, where 200 kids graduated from our second grade bicycle program, and the DC Bike Ride gifted them 200 personalized bikes and helmets. And the chancellor reminded me, he said, you know, Mayor Bowser, 97% of our kids are doing exactly what these young ladies are doing. They're going to school, they're taking advantage of opportunity, and they will go on to college or career and start their families right here in Washington, D.C. So I always want to lift those children up and remind the press that that's not just the majority, it's the vast majority. So, having said that, the things that help, you heard Randy and President Pogue Lyons talk about making school joyful and challenging and grabbing the kids, and that is the kind of the heart of our attendance work. And it's also on the heart of making sure that every kid, no matter where they are, whether they're great students or whether they're challenged students, can be served by our schools. So ATC in all of our programs, as children are in high school, is meant to give them a taste of what the work world is like, give them the opportunity, as you heard one of the students say, find out what they like and what they don't like. And what they will pursue. So I think this is a great opportunity. I think something else that our leader here also emphasized that is a good thing. It's a good and efficient investment. It is possible that not every school is going to have a program like this, but this one will, and every student will have the opportunity to come here. And so making that, this is a citywide opportunity. And so kids, whether they are from Czech or whether they're from Eastern, like our students here, or Anacostia or Ballou, or what was the other high school? H.D. Woodson, who's here. I guarantee you these principals are saying, oh, I got to make sure this student and this family knows about this, and I'm going to make sure. That's the exposure that we want. I should also recognize a couple other members of our cabinet, our employment services, or the district's labor secretary. If we were a state, Dr. Unique Morris Hughes. Drew Hubbard from our Workforce Investment Council, and Dr. Ayanna Bennett from the Department of Health. We appreciate your being here. So any other questions quickly? Yep.
One follow-up, and I don't know who wants to answer this one
Sure.
up there, but the healthcare field, I heard the kind of the national numbers and the shortage. Can anybody tell me just how difficult the shortage is right now of healthcare workers in the D.C. area, and specifically in Washington, D.C.?
I'm going to ask Dr. Bennett to talk about that.
So we have very specific areas where our shortages are fairly critical. Home health aides, lots of our staff, nurse assistants who work in our long-term care. We are doing lots of things to try to make those better, but they will not get better without a supply. So this kind of program, I really appreciate that it's education, but from my perspective, it's a healthcare program. We're going to be in big trouble in about 5 years if we don't have people to fill these jobs. So those really strong people who've come back to healthcare after being pretty beat up during COVID are tired, and they cannot do the work of 3 people. So if we are not supplying these kind of enthusiastic people into the system, we're going to have trouble maintaining the health care for our citizens. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for my health care workforce program that I didn't have to build. So we have critical areas, but they are specific, but they are broad. So nurses, nursing assistants, some of our technical areas, like respiratory therapists, we have pockets of things like that. But it is really it's really an industry-wide problem. It's on every level, basically.
School nurses, psychologists, social workers, they're part of, and mental health professionals, for sure. You hear this, girls? You see what we're doing?
There are several, I mean, we went to Germany together to look at how to start building these kind of pathways here. But in the healthcare dual certification programs already, and we're building one with Northwell in New York City, what you also see, I'm saying this to our young adults, is that a lot of kids that go through these programs then go to medical school, then become doctors, become psychologists, become social workers. But what it does is it creates, again, opportunity and choices for the student. And that's what's so empowering and engaging, which is one of the reasons why you see a huge increase in the numbers, that once a program gets street cred, then you start seeing the huge increase in the numbers.
Last question right here in the middle.
Yeah, Lauren Lumpkin from the Washington Post. So this program has been around for 2 years now. What can you all say about the kids who have just finished it, about kind of how well this is working? Like how many of these students are going to college or are they working now? What data points can you point to right now?
I will start and our administrator will finish. Tangible points that she raised, which we're quite proud of, is students have earned over $900,000 of college credit, that these credits will follow them should they go to Trinity, the University of District of Columbia, or university of their choice. They have an over 90% attendance rate. We talk about a lot of things in a deficit mindset, but as the mayor said and as others said, every single day, our high school students are getting up every day and making right choices and putting themselves on the path. They're coming into places where they're loved, and I'm very excited that you are studying period awareness, because we're the only jurisdiction in this country that has menstrual health standards. And she gets to take this work and play it forward. And so those are the metrics that we hear and talk about often, attendance and credit earning. But tell us a bit more, because they did just have their first ceremony acknowledging where our students are going next.
Absolutely. I wish you all could have been with us last week, but we had 53 students cross the stage in completing our 2-year program, and many of those students are planning to go to college. Some of them are going to be continuing this summer with Trinity Washington University in the CNA course, because many of them said, I want to work as a CNA while I'm in college and studying to become an obstetrician or gynecologist or many of the other fields that they're definitely interested in. Some of them said, I want to be a trauma nurse. And different things, but they know that getting onto the first rung of that ladder is what's really important, but they want to be able to work in a healthcare space while they're continuing their training, because we know that most careers today do require some level of training after high school. Right? And so our students understand that, and I, again, invite you all to next year's completion ceremony, because the one thing I'm really excited about is, our first year, our students opted into an unknown program, right? They took a chance and said, well, it sounds cool, but what is it? And I couldn't really tell them because we hadn't done it, right? But I'll close by saying our retention this year among our second cohort is already much higher. I think it's by about 20 percentage points higher than it was last year. As we're closing out our first year for that cohort, I'm so excited for them to come back next year, and we're going to have to get a bigger stage. So thank you, everyone.
All right, and I should acknowledge that we've been joined by our host council member and Ward 5 council member, Zachary Parker. And this may be slightly unfair, but I'll leave him with this. We're talking about the ATC in Ward 8. It's in my budget. The council votes on my budget next week. Thank you, everybody.